All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's class. My name is Becky with Scott Roy Marketing. Today we are going to be covering command automation and lead conversion. So just some things that you can set up to automatically send to leads when they come into command, and things like that. So if you are watching this here with me live, please drop any questions in the chat as we go through, and I will do my best to get those answered in real time. I may have to save time till the end to make sure I get those questions, but I will definitely do my best to make sure that I get them all answered for you. Just might have to save them for the end. If you are watching this back on recording, please feel free to email us, support@scottleroymarketing.com. I am going to go ahead and drop some links in the chat over here, so give me just a second. So we've got the first one that I'm dropping in now is going to be our email address that I just mentioned, so support@scottleroymarketing.com. The second one is going to be our YouTube channel, which I highly recommend checking out. I'm actually going to take you over there now and I'll show you what it looks like. So when you go to our YouTube channel, we highly recommend checking out the videos tab. So that is going to have our most recent videos up at the very top. So you can come down here and these will be our most recent, I believe it's about 10 videos right here. But you can also click here or this videos tab, either way. And it's going to bring you, it'll show you all of our videos, but it's going to put it in order with the most recent videos up at the top. So today's class recording will be on here within 24 hours. So you'll see it right here at the top of our videos tab. If you are searching, say for example, uh, search for that. And if you are searching, this one isn't a great example because it does actually put it in the correct order. But if you are searching, just make sure you're paying attention to these dates right here, how long ago it was. Things are always changing, both with command and the services that we offer here at Scott Roy Marketing. If you are searching, sometimes it'll put a video from a couple years ago up here, and things have definitely changed since then. So we highly recommend just keeping an eye on those dates, try to find the most recent date, especially if you're searching. Again, videos tab will show you that automatically up at the top. So you can feel free to look through those. If you have any questions on any of the videos, anything like that, again, feel free to reach out to us via email, support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we will get that taken care of for you. So we're going to go ahead and jump in to our class today. So there's a couple different things that can be automated in command. To start out with, we're going to be jumping around a good bit, just so I can show you the different things that can be automated. So the first thing we want to take a look at is just our lead routing rules, our lead management rules, things like that. So how you would find those is you're going to go to your name in the top right corner of command. You're going to go down to the settings tab right here. Give that a second to load. And once it loads, you're going to click command settings, contacts, and lead management. So under this tab, you're going to see any rules that you have created. So lead rules allow you to auto tag leads with tags, automatically assign them to smart plans, things like that. So if you are on a team, you may have limited access with the permission levels on the team to what the lead management rules can do. So if you are looking to change those on your team account, you'd need to talk to your rainmaker to see if they can give you access to change those rules or if they can create a rule or something along those lines. If you are on a team, you'll just want to make sure that you are in the correct settings for that. So you would click your name in the top corner, and then you'll just select your team account right here or your personal if you're already in your team, depending on what you are looking to add those for. So we're going to go ahead and click Create Rule. We can already see the ones that are already existing. We have the option to edit them or delete them, but we're going to go ahead and create a new rule right here. And then we'll enter our rule title. So we'll see here. We'll go we'll say website lead. Which lead source is this rule for? So you can select all if you'd like, so it'll be any lead that comes into your command is going to automatically get this rule applied to it. You can also toggle that off, and you can choose specific lead sources. So it's important to note that these tend to be generic lead sources. So if you are doing one for campaigns, it's not necessarily going to be from a specific paid ad or something along those lines, just for an example. It would be the lead from all of the campaigns or from your website in general. So you'd want to pick the lead source, but again, just remember that these are pretty general. I'm going to scroll down, find my website. You'll see the KW app/site or the KW app. You can select both, either or just the KW site right here. So we can do that. We'll go ahead and include those in there. Then it'll ask, what do you want to happen to the leads coming from these sources? And this is where we can set some things up. So we can make it so that any leads automatically are tagged. So we can create tags right here. So we would want to go ahead and we can either select existing tags. So for example, we have some in here. We can search for them. Last demo. If you just enter in one, then you can just create a custom tag, and you can choose the color for that tag through here. So you have options. Let's see here. Sometimes they're a little, let's see here. We've been seeing this error with the colors, so we'll just go ahead with this one. Well, maybe not. We might. I'll take a look because I have another demo account that I'm going to pull up to show something else, and we'll see if we can get it in there. But otherwise, you'll just select those tags through here. You will assign them to smart plans if you'd like. So you don't have to do both of these. So you don't have to have them automatically added to smart plans or automatically tagged. You can choose either or both. Totally up to you. So we can say assign to smart plan. And from here, we'll see all of the smart plans that we have in our smart plans library. So these will be ones that we've already added. It's not going to allow us to choose from all published smart plans because they'd have to be added to your smart plan library first. But you'll just want to go through and this will show you any ones that you've created, any that you've added. So we'll just say this one right here. And then we can just say create rule. It is important to note that when you are creating these rules, just make sure that you are being careful about creating duplicates. So adding multiple tags and multiple smart plans. So actually with these, it looks like we don't have any of the same sources or tags here. So for example, if you had the same lead source, doing multiple things, or different lead sources, all sending them to the same place. So if they respond to a Facebook ad lead and KW app site, you just want to make sure that you are being careful. Command won't let you add the same person to a smart plan repeatedly or tags multiple sorry, it won't allow you to add the same tag multiple times to contacts. So there is a little bit of a safeguard there. That being said, though, if you do have the same contact being added to multiple smart plans, that can get a little confusing. That could, add a ton of different ones that they can put them on a ton of different smart plans, which can kind of inundate them with a lot of emails. So you might just want to be careful with that. Make sure it's not overlapping too much there. Contacts can be on multiple smart plans. That's not a problem. You just want to make sure, maybe they're spaced out a little bit, or maybe it's not a different email all the time. So there's something that you want to keep in mind there. Again, as a reminder, these do tend to be generic lead sources. They're not going to be necessarily from a specific paid ad, a custom page, anything like that. It's more of a generic idea here. However, we can make it for a specific paid ad campaign, and that's going to be a little bit different. We are going to go over to our campaigns applet on the left-hand side. So that's going to be the megaphone, bullhorn, whatever you would like to call it. So you'll just click on that. If you are unsure of what these applets are, you can hit the red square with the white KW in it, and it will expand that whole menu for you. So you'll be able to go find them. And we do have a class for pretty much each of these applets through here. So feel free to go check those out individually. So for example, paid ads, we do have a whole class that covers creating paid ads and getting those sent out. So we're going to go over to our paid ads tab, and then we can see our current campaigns. We can create a campaign. So I'm going to click create a campaign up here in the top right corner. I'm going to say a paid ad. Does take a second to load. So once we're in here, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab one of the more popular ones. So I'll just grab this one just so you can see it. But you'll go through and you'll add your listings. You'll be able to link those right here. As you go through and create those, it's going to show you all these options if you have your Facebook linked. So if you go down, you'll see, your text. And then down here, lead settings is what you want, what we're looking for right now. So this is going to customize how the leads for this specific ad are managed and tagged. So it's not just going to be for all ads, it's going to be for this specific ad. So we can say really the same rules here, so we can apply tags here. We'll be able to create new tags in here. Let's see if it has it there. There we go. We can go in and add as many as we'd like. We'll see if it'll let me create the new tag in here. Yeah, it says unable to create the tag. So it's probably just an error with this specific account. We'll see if we can figure that out later on after the class is over. But then smart plans through here, you can also automatically assign them to a smart plan. And again, you'll have the option to go through and pick any of the ones that you have in your smart plan library. So you'll be able to make those changes, automatically add tags. Again, not required to do both. It can be kind of an either or situation, whichever you'd prefer. And then you would just click. You can save it as a draft or proceed if you're going through creating it. I'm not going to go through and create a whole paid ad. Again, we do have a class on this. If you're interested in those, I would highly recommend checking out that class. It's going to be our paid ads class. So we'll go back over to our campaigns in command. And the next thing we want to look at is smart plans. So smart plans also have individual triggers in there. So we're going to go look at those. We'll go over smart plans is going to be the square. It kind of looks like a task list with a cogwheel in the bottom corner. So a smart plan is really kind of a set it and forget it type plan. So if we go through here, we'll see the smart plans that we have existing throughout here. We can go to the library, we can add some from the library, and we can also create our own. I'm going to go ahead and create one. We'll enter a name for this. And we'll say create plan. And then there's a couple things for smart plans. I'm going to actually walk you through them a little more later on. But right here you have auto add and auto remove rules. Actually, we do have to add a step first before we can go into this. So let's just go ahead and do one right here. So we'll just go send an email. You know what? I'm going to walk you through this a little later on. I'm actually just going to go edit this existing one just for this point right here. And then we'll circle back because I want to cover that more of the whole sample lead conversion plan from start to finish. So I'm just going to edit an existing plan. Well, this one doesn't have a step on it either. Let's go. Okay, this one does because you can see right here how many it has. So we'll go through and we'll edit this one. There we go. But then we have the option to auto add or remove rules. So we can remove the contact. I'm going to start with the remove rules. So this will allow us to remove the contact from the smart plan. For example, when they reply to an email or if they reply to a text, because we can set up smart plans to send out emails automatically to our contacts or texts if we have Twilio connected. So we can choose these. For example, if the contact replies to an email from the smart plan, that way, if we're having a personal conversation with that client, that consumer, it's not going to just keep sending automated emails on top of the emails we're going back and forth on. So that allows it to look a little more personal and not just inundate them with a lot of emails, automated emails that don't look personal necessarily. So you can remove them when they reply to an email or when they reply to a text. Again, just so we can have a natural conversation going and not just spam them with automated emails and texts. Now we also have auto add and remove rules down here. So this is going to allow us to add a contact when they've been tagged. So I'm just going to click edit. So trigger tags, it's going to be how you start a smart plan. Sometimes when a selected tag is added to a contact. For example, if we have an existing contact and we want to add them to the smart plan, we can add the tag to them and it will trigger the smart plan for them. So it's not retroactive. Once you set this up, it is not going to go back and start everyone that currently has the tag on the smart plan. It's going to be more of a moving forward. So you just want to make sure if you do want everyone with that's existing with the tag to be added to the smart plan, you would just want to go add them individually. We do have a tech tip that shows you how to add them to the smart plan. If you want to go check that out, feel free. You can just add contacts without the tags. This just allows you to set up trigger tags. So you can do up to 10 at a time. So we can go through and we can pick the tags that we'd like in here, up to 10. Just grab a few through here. And then we'll just say apply changes. And then it will automatically trigger to be sent to those contacts when it's been tagged. I'll show you what it looks like when I remove those because we already had one on there. Go ahead. Then you would just click add trigger tags and it'll be the same demo you can look at right there. But you can go in and add those triggers individually. Then you would just want to make sure you click save plan so those changes will go into effect on there and you'll see those through there. So the next one I want to look at is our opportunity checklist templates. So this one I'm actually going to switch over to that other demo account that I was talking about a minute ago. Give me just a second. There we go. For some reason, this isn't working in our other demo account. So I'm going to pull it up on here, just to make sure we have all of that information in here. But the next thing we want to look at is opportunity checklist templates. So with opportunities, you can set up checklists to automatically send them out to automatically send out tasks, create tasks for you in your tasks applet as a contact moves through the opportunity pipeline. Basically, as their transaction goes from start to finish, depending on the key dates. So a key date on an opportunity, I'm just going to pull one up to show you. So if you are on a main opportunity and you go down, you'll see this key dates section right here. And these are going to be important. You'll want to fill these out more as you go through your opportunity in Command. Add in some of these dates, and I'll show you why. Again, we do have a class for opportunities that cover the whole pipeline from start to finish. And we do touch on the key dates as well in that one. But doing those is going to allow you to create tasks surrounding those key dates. So we're going to go back over to our sales pipeline. And then what we want to do is we want to go into the individual pipelines. So you'll have to edit the checklists through the individual pipelines. So you'd have to create one for listings, buyers, leases, things like that. So we're going to go into the listings. You're going to click the stages and checklists option up at the top. And then in each of these stages, so that's the individual parts of each kind of bucket in the pipeline. So we'll go in and we can do our checklist items. So through here, you'll see a bunch of ones that we have in here. So we can create new ones and we can keep ones that exist. But if we say add a task, maybe we want to follow up call. Then we'll go through, well, this is probably the wrong stage, but that's okay. So we'll just say follow-up call. You can make it a call task or a text task, where your tasks are going to tell you, oh, you need to call this client, you need to text this client. It'll be linked to the specific opportunities. But if you go through, we'll say we want to text them, we'll call them. You'll want to say follow up after meeting with them. Again, you would probably put this under the appointment stage and not actually under the cultivate stage, but we'll just, for the sake of this, we'll just pretend it's correct there. You can add a link if you need to. You can set a priority level. Maybe this is high priority for us to make that call. And then this due date section right here, this is where we can go in and make it on a smart due date or before or after a smart due date. So we can say after, and then we can say however many days. So we'll say maybe we want to call them a week. I could also just say week. After, and then we can select our key due date. So opportunity created date, estimated close date, appointment scheduled, appointment date. So I'm going to say the appointment date. And then it will go ahead and trigger this checklist. It'll trigger the tasks to show up on your tasks applet, and you can go in and make that call. So I'm going to go ahead and create it. You'll see it right here. There are a bunch of, I'm actually going to show you this. I'm dropping a link in the chat. So this is going to be a template from KW that has a bunch of, can I do it in here? It's gonna make me sign in. Hold on. Let me, there we go. We'll show this one. Sorry. This is a problem with too many tabs open. Here we go. So when you go there, it's gonna tell you you want to make a copy. So you'll just say make a copy. And then it's gonna open up for you. And then through there, this is going to be a lot of options that KW has created, just ideas that you can use. So you can go through and get an idea of what you want to add. You can just copy and paste these individually and create tasks in that opportunity pipeline. So you can go through and choose that however you would like. You don't have to use these, you can create your own. But we do find that they have a lot of good ideas in here for each pipeline and each stage in that phase. So there's a bunch of options in here. They even have it broken down as different tabs. Let me resize this a little bit. Down at the bottom, you can see buyers, listing, leases, tags, and things like that. So these are some great options for you if you want to go through and make those checklists customized to you. I do see a question. You just joined. Where can you find this? Let me drop the link again. Give me just a second. So there you have it. That is from KW directly. They created this. So you can go in and grab those. It'll probably ask you to make a copy of it first, and that'll just allow you to edit it. Make it your own. But yeah, so there, you'll do that. You can go in and you can edit this for each of the individual stages. And when you do it in these stages and checklists up here, it's going to apply to all of the opportunities. You do also have the opportunity to you have the option to change that in the opportunity. Once you click on an opportunity, you just go up to tasks up here, and then we'd be able to create a task through here. Again, we have the option to make it related to smart due dates. Just keep in mind that if you do it from within the opportunity itself, um, that is really just going to apply to that opportunity and not all of your opportunities. Um, so that's just something you'll want to keep an eye on. And then you'll actually go over to your tasks, and that's where you'll see them. And you'll see what opportunity it's linked to, if it's linked to a client or an opportunity. So those tasks are super helpful for you. It's kind of just a to-do list for you to help keep yourself organized. And you can see the due dates through here. So now that we've covered the different types of automation, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to walk you through setting up a simple, just a simple lead conversion plan. So we are going to, first we're going to create a custom smart plan. So we're going to go to our smart plans applet again, which again is this square with the list and then the cogwheel. Once you're in here, you'll see, I'm just gonna clear those. You'll see any smart plans that you have currently in here. So we have this one that we've already created. You can go to the library and find one from your specific or from anyone that's published them. So there's some Keller Williams ones, some top rated ones. So you have those options as well. But I'm going to go ahead and create a custom one. So we're just going to click create in the top right corner. We'll enter our smart plan name. And we'll click create plan. So when we are doing this, day one is going to be immediately. So when you add a contact to the smart plan, it's going to trigger this step immediately. There is an exception to this, and that is if you have a text step, if you have your Twilio connected. Texts will only be sent out between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. On what you have set as your time zone. So you will be able to control that. We do have a video tech tip that walks you through updating your time zone. So again, feel free to check that out on our YouTube channel. But you can go through and a text again is going to send out between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Somewhere in that time frame immediately following. So if you add them to the smart plan at 9 p.m., the text will probably go out 8 a.m. the next day, maybe a little bit after, but it will be triggered to be sent during that time zone. So just to make sure you're compliant with TCPA, things like that. So we are going to go ahead. We can say send an email. Maybe we want our first step when they have, for example, submitted a lead on our website. Maybe we want that first step to be a simple email. So we have some options through here. We can make it a simple email. We can make it an email from our designs where we've gone in and created a template that looks a little fancier, nicer. But maybe we want simple just to make it look more authentic and feel more authentic. Like it's just sending them an email, and not, it doesn't look automated, spammy like that. So we'll just go ahead and say, and then we can enter our email content. So we have a couple options for formatting up top. So we can change the size of the font, make it bold, italic, underlined, create lists. We can also add merge tags. So merge tags are great if you are, for example, want to greet that person by name when this email goes out. So you'll just say hi, and then you can just say add merge tag, and it can automatically add the contact's first name when it sends it to them. Oh, I just deleted it. Let's try that again. And then we can just say, we'll just say that. You can fill it out however you'd like. Just for the sake of the example, I'll just say that. But feel free to fill it in with whatever you are looking for, you would like to say to them. Make it personal, make it, personalized to you, make it sound like you. That way they kind of get an idea of who you are. The reply to email, just so when they reply, it's going to go to that email. You'd change that in your settings. And then you have your step details. So you can set a delay on this. When should the email be sent out? Day one, this is the day one step. You can change the time of day on steps beyond day one. So we'll add this one and we'll just add a day so that you can see that. So then the second day, it'll send another email, and then we would be able to go in and change that time of day. So it won't be just otherwise it'll be any time on that day. So if you want to play around with that, you certainly can. You can send a text. So you can make it days right after each other. We don't have our Twilio connected, so it's not going to let me actually send a text automatically. It'll let me create a text task in my command. But you can add days in between. You can remove them. You can make it wait. So for example, if we say we want to wait 6 days after day one, it means day 7 is when this is going to go out. So it's kind of how you do that with your text or with your smart plan. Smart plans are great because, for example, if you have those lead management rules we talked about at the beginning set up to send them an email automatically once they have joined your website. So if they do that, it'll send an email. For example, it kind of just works for you. You could be out of town. It could be, late at night and they fill out the contact me form on your website. Then it would send them an email automatically. And then they would kind of know that that you're kind of on top of it. And that's definitely very helpful for your business. You definitely want people to know that you are on top of it. And so that definitely helps out. Um, so then you can do that. We're gonna go ahead and close that out. Let's see here. I'll just add steps to those. Just because its name. Well, I guess I could have done the make a call. There we go. There we go. And then you can do that. You can add a merge tag here so that you know who you're calling. So you can say call contact first name, and then you'll get an idea of who it is. It'll also be linked to the contact in your tasks applet. So you can fill that out however you would like. Then you can just say add step. Um, and then we can go, maybe we want to create a task for that one. Maybe we want to, let's see here. Do that, you can go through and create those, add that step, and then you would save the plan. There we go. And then you'll see it right in here. You'll see the number of touches, the duration of the smart plan. You'll also be able to see the number of contacts that are on that smart plan. So if we wanted, we can go through and we can add trigger tags. So when they come in through as a lead, they'll automatically be added to this smart plan. If they're, team, anything like that. So we'll just add that trigger right there. We can remove the contact when they reply to an email or a text. Then we can save that plan. Alrighty. So you can also make sure to add a task for yourself, which we have in here. If you want, next day after they've emailed, we can change that around. We'll put that back down here. Maybe we want to make a call. And maybe we want to make this the day after. Oh, wrong direction. Nope, not. There we go. So that way we would know, we send out the email automatically. But then if we have it give us a task automatically that we want to set up a meeting or contact them or whatever, it'll put it in our tasks so that we have an idea what, that we know to reach out to them so that we'll be really on top of it. So that kind of gives us that option there as well. So we'll just hit save on that. Yeah, so that is how you would go through and do that. Again, if you go over to your tasks, you would see it through here. We don't have a contact on that smart plan, but you would see right here where it was linked to. So that'll link it to the contact or the lead. And then it'll say created by, and it'll tell you what it was created by. So if you had the smart plan that created that task, you would see it through here. And also on your dashboard, if you have your tasks right here, you'll see it appear. You can filter it by due date and things like that. So honestly, a great option for this is if you just get in the habit of following up with your leads first thing in the morning, kind of just set your own strategy there, whatever works best for you for contacting, reaching out to those leads. Then you kind of just get in the habit of following up with this. You do want to make sure you're complying with TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. Kind of regulates telemarketing, text messages, faxes. So it kind of just protects the consumers from unwanted communications, things like that. So you do want to make sure that you are compliant with TCPA. Make sure you are not contacting people that say they don't want to be contacted. It also applies to certain time areas or certain times. So, for example, that's why you can't send texts between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Or after 8 p.m. and before 8 a.m. You can send them between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So you just kind of want to keep that in mind. And you can actually go to your contacts and you can set up a smart view where you can go in and you can view the leads. So we already have that smart view in there. You can create that smart view. To do that, you would just click the filters. You would say you want to make it leads only, and then you can see the ones with that specific tag. So if you have them, that lead management rule set up to automatically tag your contacts, you can go through and you can do that. You can go through however you'd like, and then you would just click apply. And then you'll probably see an option that says save as smart view. If you already have a smart view, you'll see update smart view. But you have that option, and the smart view just allows you to switch between the views you have. So we can go in and choose those. That's really all I've got. I have a couple minutes for questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the recording. But if you are not sticking around for questions or you're watching it back on replay, thanks for joining us. Again, if you have questions later on, please feel free to reach out to us via email, support@scottleroymarketing.com. Hope this was helpful for you and hope you have a fantastic weekend.